Hi, everyone. My name is David Buchanan, and I am the current technology chair for the Atlanta Rotaract Club and the Atlanta Metro Rotary Club.
Hey everyone, my name is Joseph. I was a past technology chair for the club. And yeah, and behind me is my cat, Lee. So in case y'all are wondering.
Hey, Lee. So today we're going to talk about what is involved in being the tech chair for a Rotaract Club and or a Rotary Club, and how our club utilizes this role. So first and foremost, the technology chair, the way our clubs have defined it, is pretty much anything that has to do with web-based applications or any type of technology. We don't limit it to like software engineering or anything like that. Just anything that's in the cloud or online. And one thing that we've figured out is for this particular role, a lot of it's about the initial setup. That's where most of the work comes in. And so like Joe was our original tech chair, and Joe put in a ton of time to get everything set up, our website set up. And, he did a fantastic job. So when I became tech chair, it became much more of a maintenance role. And, he trained me in how to accomplish things I needed to do. And they were very simple and easy to do because Joe spent the time to do it well in that setup time. And so that's just something to be aware about. And then something that is important to know, there's so many different applications that people use to communicate that password management's become a real big thing for us too, especially with Rotary changing the executive board positions every year. People need to transition. So the old people you have to delete their passwords, you have to get the new passwords to the new people and set them up with the accounts. And so Joe will get into more details about that later. But now I'd like to talk about how our club communicates. So our club in the past used to use GroupMe, which I think is a pretty popular application for communicating within Rotaract clubs. But we stopped using it after our club got past around 100 members because it's only one chat group. And if you need to ask somebody a question, you don't actually have their cell phone number, you're going to ping over 100 people, at least for our club. And people, when that happens, you get all those notifications and they just have to mute the group because what else you're going to do? There's just too much information being thrown at you that's not relevant to you. And so our club transitioned away from GroupMe and we started using an application called Slack, which is used a lot in the business world. And Slack is fantastic because it's free and it allows something called channels, which allows you to break up how you're trying to communicate to your members. So we have a general channel where everyone can post, but mainly it's about posts that are relevant to all of our members. So let's say there's a new event, we post something there. We're trying to, let people know about an upcoming Rotary event, like let's say Rotary International, we're going to notify our members in the general channel. But then if we have an event where everybody signed up for it, we say, hey guys, we have a channel for this specific service event. Please go to that channel for all the updates. And it's perfect because anybody who's at that event knows exactly where to go. They get all the updates that are relevant for those people. And you don't have to worry about sending a message that's going to hit 100 people's emails or something. It's just going to notify the relevant people. So Slack has really been a game changer, I think, for our club. And as technology chair, it's really easy to just be the admin for that. Slack is very easy to use and you can use tons of plugins. Joe, do you want to talk about some of the plugins that we use for our Slack channel or workspace?
Yes. So one of the most important plugins we use is in a Slack channel called EventBot. It's great because it takes in automatically from Meetup and it posts the links to the events and all the details in our events channel. So yeah, but one thing about plugins and bots, please be careful. Do not do too many. Don't try to, they can spam people if they get out of hand. So my suggestions are pick a channel, let a bot run it, and, don't do anything else outside of that. Minus maybe some we use a simple pull one. So that's about the only other integration I think of that's not restricted to a channel, but be very careful with bots.
Yeah. And Joe, what would you say the level of effort was to set up those bots?
It's was not too bad. I've actually developed some before my past, but picking these bots, it was not too difficult at all. It's really just about the features you want, trying out different ones and seeing what sticks and what doesn't.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I would say even though the technology chair has the word technology, it's not like I want to keep repeating this. It's, you don't have to be a software engineer or be in IT. It's really just understanding how certain applications work and reading documentation that's easily found on Google or anything like that. It's accessible to anybody. So, don't be afraid to make this position thinking we don't have a tech guy. It's an accessible role for any club.
You can probably Google the answer.
What?
You can probably Google the answer.
Exactly. Which would probably make you a software engineer too, right, Joe?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So some other applications we use to communicate. One's Meetup. Meetup is a great way to meet all sorts of people, and we use it for outreach for new members. And it's fantastic. We probably get 1 or 2 people trying to join the club through Meetup. And it's just a fantastic way to showcase what our club is doing and just putting ourselves out there. It's almost like advertising, but not quite, because we want to try to get as many people coming to our service events as possible. We let anybody come to our service events. I think Meetup's a really good way to facilitate that, because it's people who are trying to reach out to all sorts of organizations. And then LinkedIn's a great way. LinkedIn, you definitely want to have a LinkedIn account because it's the networking site. And so you can reach a lot of people like Rotarians who may not be on other types of social media. And I highly recommend also creating a group for your Rotaract or Rotary Club on LinkedIn. And then, it's important to understand how your Rotary Club communicates. So our sponsoring Rotary Club likes to communicate through email. So it's important to understand that as well, so you can keep your Rotarians in the loop. For our social media, again, a great way to keep members engaged because they see the service that you're doing. And it's a great way to, again, just advertise your club, what your club's all about. Are you guys about service? Are you guys networking? And this is, maybe your club splits tech chair and your social media chair. Our club did that after we realized, it's a lot of work to get all the photos and create good posts and really manage that. Originally, the tech chair did both, but we did split it up because social media is just really important. So it was important to have somebody who's directly focused on that. And then we have a Facebook group where we post events because, again, we're trying to reach all of our members at all the different applications that they use, because some people might not be on Instagram where they are on Facebook, and or maybe it's the Rotarians are on Facebook, but they're not on Instagram. So we try to keep all of our different applications or apps updated with the same information. And I'll mention our calendar too. That's a big part of the tech chair's responsibility, is to make sure that your calendar's updated on all these different communication vectors. So on Slack, Meetup, Instagram, Facebook. It's a lot of collaborating with your other club members, and especially in this case, the social media chair. And Joe, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, and just on the previous point, if you're wondering about a good, remember iCal is what you want to use to sync between all your apps. That would be the technology you're looking for. But anyhow, Google Workplace. So what is this? It's if you guys are familiar with a Google account, then you're familiar with Google Workplace. It's just taking a Google account and making it an organization instead. So we use this, and as you know, it's about $6 a month per user. But with that, you actually get to set up your own personal email domains, like at atlantarotaract.com or at atlantarotaract.org at the end of your email. You get to have a club drive that everyone can share and see and maintain. And yeah, so it's also a great place. At the beginning, we mentioned, you want to use Password Manager. We use KeyPass, and one disadvantage of KeyPass is it's it's just a file. It's stored locally. So with this, you can actually put it into your drive here and make it a cloud drive. But if this is something you don't want to pay for, I've also used Zoho in the past. It's a free alternative to this. Maybe it doesn't look as nice as Google, but it is a free alternative if you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, near the end we'll actually give you a little demo. We'll show you around kind of what we do. But another important part I want to show you later is that you definitely want to separate your directories by the year. I've had problems when I came in at the beginning of the club. It was very cluttered. Everything was everywhere. It's good to kind of at the end of the year just make a new directory. Make a new directory, start over from scratch, and give each role a folder there so things can stay clean. But
yeah, definitely.
Yes, and so going on website now. So the first thing you want to do when you do any technology is you want to pick your technology stack. I'm going to go ahead and recommend WordPress here, as that's probably the easiest setup if you are you're new at this, you're not very technically inclined. This is definitely the way you want to go. But once you do your website, once you kind of have a technology picked and you maybe started playing with it locally or whatever, and you're ready to get going, you want to pick a domain. So what is that? That's like us, AtlantaRotaract.com. That would be our domain. And GoDaddy is a very popular source for this. And the prices for domains can range about $20 to $30 a year. But just remember that each different domain is a separate fee. So AtlantaRotaract.com and AtlantaRotaract.org would be separate domain fees. And so after that, you reach a third step. And this could actually also be your second step too, if you decide to just go with GoDaddy to host your website. But we went ahead and went with a different hosting partner. So we picked, we're currently using Bluehost, but in the past we used HostGator, SiteGround. They're all good choices, and there's many more out there. But you definitely want to pick a nice hosting partner. But Bluehost is cool. It actually has a one-click install for WordPress. So if you have no idea how to set it up, you have no idea what you're doing, you can just skip all the way to picking your hosting partner and just clicking please install WordPress for me, and you can just develop right on there if you don't want to develop locally with WordPress first. But yeah, prices for that can range anywhere from $30 a year to $100 a year. It really depends on what you're doing and where you're trying to go and how much traffic you will get. And of course, the last part. Yeah, a little fast, David. The last part is
I'm
maintenance.
excited. Yeah.
I know. The last part is maintenance. You need to, it's pretty much, it should run itself, whatever you do, whatever plugins you have set up on your website, but it should run itself. But you do need to check things every now and then. For instance, if you're using GoDaddy once a year, you should probably check to make sure your domains aren't expiring. You don't want to run into that situation where your domain expires and your website doesn't work. And you want to check your renewals for Bluehost or HostGator or whoever you're using. For a lot of these people, if you're trying to get the cheapest option for your club, you might actually pick the 3-year span, because that can be cheaper than picking 1 year at a time. But that's just keep on top of that and check everything, make sure everything's running.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then just some considerations while you're building your website. You want to decide how much information you want on there. Really, guys, less is more. I cannot stress this enough. A lot of Rotary sites here tend to lean on the side of putting too much information on there, too many menus. I mean, I know you've put a lot of time into your website. You're probably, very emotional about it, but most people are just going to want to get there and see what you guys are about and what are the events, and maybe that's it. So, and, a little example for our website, we only have a few tabs: club events, photos. Hey, you want to see what I look like? There's a contact us button. So you can, email, right now it's set up to the president and vice president, but you can add more or less. And also we use MailChimp for our newsletter. So on our website, you can sign yourself up there. And something else I want to point out, I know people hate CAPTCHAs, and that's when it captures, the thing that's asking you, are you human? Yes, you are going to want that to protect some of these forms. It's not fun. They get a lot of spam. bots emailing you and messaging you. So definitely protect yourself from captchas. And Google's great. They have a it's easy to set up through there, and any plugin you use to do anything on your website is probably going to support this. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so yeah, like Joe was talking, and I wanted to hit on this later on. The tech role, to have all these different technologies, most of them are free, but some of them are not. Like Joe was mentioning, the website cost, you got to pay for your domain name, you got to pay the hosting fees. And, depending on your skill set or how familiar you are with the technology, it can range from $50 to maybe up to $300. But it's definitely worth it, because this is your public facing interface with new members, or maybe Rotarians want to see what your Rotaract club is doing. And I don't know about you, Joe, but if somebody doesn't have a website or a Facebook page, like I'm a little bit skeptical of what's happening. So definitely, it's worth the money to put into this role if you have it. And then we use Meetup as a member generation tool. And so it's definitely worth the $160 a year to get a few members contributing to our service and just the club atmosphere in general. But if you don't have the resources, then of course, social media, LinkedIn, those are perfectly fine. You create your groups. I mean, they have so many resources to reach out to people as well. You don't necessarily need the website, even though I highly recommend it. So here, just a few examples. And now, Joe, do you want to take over the screen?
Of course I will.
Give us a demo.
Yeah, so.
And while Joe's doing that, I'll explain. Sometimes you can share resources with your Rotary Club. And so our Zoom account is actually used by our Rotary Club. So you see my name has Chris Smith, who's the current president of the Atlanta Metro Rotary Club. So utilize Rotary resources when they're available. Highly recommend it.
Prime example here.
Yeah, prime example.
So I just wanted to quickly go over our website here, but as I mentioned earlier, we try to keep it very basic.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, you see it now? Good. All right, so yes, I just wanted to show you our website. So as I mentioned, we try to keep it very basic. It's there's really not much on our homepage. We just you come in, it tells you what our club is about, what our membership requirements are, and then we have a few links here to some of our resources like Facebook, Instagram, maybe some Rotary pages here too. But generally, the main focus is probably going to be club events here. And yeah, we don't have any events now, unfortunately. But yeah, the main thing is just club events. You want this to be fast and easy to get to. Something to think about. We have a contact us button.
Yep.
Oh yeah, gallery. Try to keep it simple, but I think you guys got that point. But also just want to kind of show you the back end of what WordPress looks like in case you haven't seen it before. This is what you're going to be dealing with. This is your admin panel back here. Anytime you want to get to this, remember it says dash WordPress admin on your main website. That's how you get to it. But it's really not too bad. I mean, what you want to do is whenever you get here, you can go to the plugin menu here, and this could be kind of the admin panel for any plugins you want. You can go to WordPress.com, search there, find any plugins, but it's really, it's supposed to be very simple. You're supposed to be able to do pretty much everything on here. If you really want to, you can get into the code if you like. And if you're wondering what that is underneath, it's PHP. But if you don't care about that, don't worry about that. You can do everything from this panel here.
Exactly. Everything's a Google away with Professor Google to teach us.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, this is just kind of showing you what you would be dealing with if you go with WordPress. And anyhow, lastly, I just kind of want to show our drive, just kind of showing you what I was talking about earlier. But this is what we do for a club. Every year we have it separated by, each presence year. So I highly recommend this. It really helps clean out things. But and then inside there, we also have, things for, each kind of event, or we have something for, for instance, here, a treasurer role. So exactly. Keep in mind. And yeah, of course, like I was mentioning earlier, Google Apps admin. Perfect. This would be, no, that's not
it. Technical difficulties.
Yeah. Yeah, this would be kind of the admin panel you would get if you go with Google Apps for admin. So as you notice, I signed in with the past president account, but you probably saw the email there. But yeah, you can set up everything here. You can set up your email domains, keep it all in one place. You can anytime someone forgets their password, you can go into here and reset it for them. It happens very often. So plan for people to forget their passwords. But highly recommend Google Apps. And like I mentioned earlier, if you don't want to do this, you can use Zoho instead. They're not a great alternative. But that's all I have, David. Anything else?
Awesome. Yeah, and that's all I have as well. As you can see, this is how our club, manages the technology chair role. All of these, this last part's a little bit more complex, but like I keep saying, it's a Google away. You don't have to have an IT background. You don't have to be a software engineer. You just have to love to learn, right? And it's definitely worth it. Having that website that Joe's created as the technology chair the following year, very easy to maintain. I can still communicate with Joe. And just getting all those different applications, it really, I think now that technology, especially with cell phones, are so pervasive in our lives, it's an important role to have in a club. And it's needed. Or if you don't have the technology chair, maybe the social media chair, because that's in that same similar vein of like, it's a cloud-based application, it's online, it requires some sort of connectivity. So that's really how I see the role, and just recommend you guys to contact us through our website, atlantarotaract.com or atlantarotaract.org if you have any questions. So feel free to reach out to Joe or myself or anybody in the Atlanta Rotaract Club. And man, Joe, I wish we had a YouTube channel so I could say, hit that like button and subscribe, hit that bell icon, get notifications, because you know how much I love this notification.
Hey, maybe that's some more technology to add, David.
Yeah, more technology, more passwords to manage. So yeah, if you guys ever have questions, please let us know. And I would like to thank Ascension Rotaract, or the Ascension MDIO network, for inviting us to speak, and glad to be here. Thanks.
Thank you.